So those that entered, male and female of all flesh, went in as God had commanded him, and the Lord shut him in. Genesis chapter 7, verses 16, exegesis. This verse marks the divine sealing of Noah and all who entered the ark. The text says that the Lord shut him in, revealing that it was God himself who sealed the ark, not Noah. Salvation and protection from judgment were completely under God's control, not man's effort. When it says those that entered went in as God had commanded him, it emphasizes obedience. Noah followed every detail of Yahweh Elohim's instructions without question, which is why he and his family were spared. This obedience mirrors the faithful in the last days who will keep the commandments of God and have the faith of Jesus. Remember, Revelation 12:17 says the dragon was enraged with the woman and went to make war with the remnant of her offspring, those who keep the commandments of God and have the faith of Jesus. We talked about in the last video how those two things mirror what Yeshua's answer was in the Gospels when he says to love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, mind, soul, and strength, and to love thy neighbor as thyself. Upon these two commandments hang the entire law and the testimony. Upon these two commandments hang the entire Old Testament and the New Testament. Upon these two commandments hang the entirety of the Bible, the entirety of the culture or the doctrine of the Bible. And those two things are emphasized a multiplicity of times in the book of Revelation. That's why it says those who keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ, symbolic for those who have love, or those who love the Lord thy God with all their mind, heart, and soul and strength, and love thy neighbor as thyself. This obedience mirrors the faithful in the last days who will keep the commandments of God and have the faith of Jesus. Just as Noah's obedience separated him from destruction, so will the obedience of the faithful separate them from the wrath to come. The phrase "the Lord shut him in" is deeply significant. It symbolizes divine sealing and protection. Once God closed the door, no man could open it. This represents the close of probation, a time when mercy will end, and those outside the ark will face judgment, or outside of Jesus the Messiah. Jesus echoed this reality in Matthew chapter 12, verses 10, speaking of the 10 virgins. And while they went in to buy, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went in with him to the wedding, and the door was shut. Once again, symbolic for the door being shut in the story of Noah. Once the door is shut, there is no second opportunity. Spiritually, the ark is a type of Christ, a type of Jesus Christ. And those inside are those who have accepted his righteousness. When God shuts us in, he seals us by his Spirit. As Ephesians chapter 1 verses 13 declares, in him who also trusted, after you heard the word of truth, the gospel of your salvation, in whom also having believed, you were sealed with the Holy Spirit of promise. Just like they were sealed with protection when Yahweh Elohim closed a door. You are sealed with the Holy Spirit of promise. A seal is the opposite of the mark. You either get two things. You get a seal or you get a mark. So we want the seal with the Holy Spirit of promise. This divine sealing will again occur in the end time when God seals his people. Revelation chapter 7 verses 3 through 4. Protecting them from the final outpouring of his wrath. Message of hope. Just as God personally shut Noah in for safety, he will also seal his faithful people before the final storm of judgment. No weapon, deception, or force can break what Yahweh Elohim has sealed. As Isaiah chapter 26 verse 20 reminds us, come, my people, enter your chambers and shut your doors behind you. Hide yourself, as it were, for a little moment until the indignation is past. Those who abide in Jesus the Christ, the Messiah, our true ark, will be shut in by grace and kept safe until the storm has passed. Genesis chapter 7 verses 16, exegesis.